a symphony. Pops long haul working moms preaching an epiphany. Bunch of smart ass souls and rivers running with steel. Hustling our bones, a true user's deal. Spend nights at poker games, small stack grind. Dream so big, change the world on my mind. Earned every penny and appreciate the pay. Was check to check, now I'm close to walking away. They say the good die young, and I'm scared I'm great. So I cherish each breath, every God bless day. These boots on the ground, no matter what they say. Yeah, we ride on this side, get the hell out the way. Get the hell out the way. Finance I learned from Robin Hood. Climb up a ladder to the blue face goods. Then get creative on how to give it back. Maybe make a kick and we'll stick it, these stack racks. They say it's crucial to be frugal. If you make it last. You can Google all the brutal bankrupt stories of the past. But we're on it and we're learning about the future out here. And we're yearning to be churning life into another gear. They say the good die young, and I'm scared I'm great. So I cherish each breath, every God bless day. These boots on the ground, no matter what they say. Yeah, we ride on this side, get the hell out the way. Get the hell out the way. They say the good die young, and I'm scared I'm great. So I cherish each breath, every God bless day. These boots on the ground, no matter what they say. Yeah, we ride on this side. They say the good die young, and I'm scared I'm great. So I cherish each breath, every God bless day. These boots on the ground, no matter what they say. Yeah, we ride on this side. Get the hell out the way.
What is going on, people? Not a really long time writing a post about game balls and shit that doesn't matter. Oh, fuck. So on July 2nd, when is this posted? July 2nd, 2025, I believe is when this is from. I wrote an article called "There is no action without reaction." Written and says, "Hello, I'm Simple Sean, insignificant, a wave in the cosmos waiting to become a particle. There is no way to craft this experience without sounding like a serial killer, yet here we are. The breakdown, a discovery was made, the theory of everything. From that, a revision of a government emerged. From the government, a political party took shape. From the party, an observer was required, and here we are. I'm declaring run for president in 2028 with the DGF party. Don't give a fuck. That's the original action. Signifying a particle. Our campaign is stand-up comedy. Think Alan Watt experience crossed with the meet them where they are philosophy. The singularity. 3 actions. You now have 3 actions to choose from. Follow along. That is the chaos. That's the preferred. Knowing the response, stability, it's measurable, and no action, indifference. It's unknown and immeasurable. That's a wave. And I tagged a whole bunch of fucking people and did a whole bunch of shit from that. So that was written a year and a month ago, and it's been happening. So a lot of shit has happened in a year, and you can imagine all of the shit that's happened since to bring somebody to write that. So basically, what I'm trying to do is document a phase change. And this is the captain's log. Yeah, that'll get the nerds in. This is the captain's log of this experiment. My hypothesis is that fucking Jesus. This is why some people should not be left unsupervised, because then they play with themselves and it's a wild game. I guess I should check and make sure we have fucking sound going on here. All right, so $14 billion idea. $14 billion idea. Right now, Uber makes, as of their last publication, they made 155 million or 155 billion dollars last year in revenue and or profits. I don't remember, but either way, the number is imaginary. It's 155 billion dollars. Like conceptually, nobody knows what the fuck 155 billion of anything is. So it's all imaginary. And they are currently manipulating markets for people to a point at which they're having to ask questions of like, can I afford to go to work? And like that's not a cool. That's fascinating. That's a question you need to ask in 2026 in America, especially with things like Uber, Lyft, and Waymo. Should everything be cheaper? But that's, I mean, I guess that's the difference between capitalism and free market. In a free market economy, the prices of everything go down or they blow up to the point at which they go extinct. But in capitalism, shit miraculously hangs on for a very long time. Stay on task, stay on task. There is no $1 trillion play. There is no $1 trillion play. So this didn't do it again. Fuck. I'm not. I have wrote. You ever have that friend who wants to tell a joke, and they come up and they say, "I have a joke for you," and then they just start fucking laughing, and then they can't breathe and say one or two things and start laughing again, and they can't breathe and say one or two things and start laughing again. Well, that's the same thing as going on here, only I'm not saying a joke. I don't know what the fuck this is. I told my parents today when I talked to them, like, I'm not okay, but I'm not okay. I don't know what that means. Yeah, so I guess we say the intro, which is we are Simple Sean, and we are here to save the world. I'm slightly more complicated than that, and I am here to fulfill my purpose. And when you think about that, it is one of the most depressing things that you have to admit to yourself. Because when you admit that you are going to fulfill your purpose, you admit that your purpose is no longer needed. And so that is why the real joke is that I'm here to ask God to write my suicide note. Now that has some people asking some questions. And the only person that you should we won't say the joke, but the joke there is you should call your mom. You don't need to call somebody for me. I'm not. It's a weird it's a weird moment to realize it's a weird moment to realize there's no $1 trillion play, but taking a $1 trillion shot. It's the observation of a polarizing figure. So what is this? The diary of the observation of two polarizing figures? Because if you have a polarizing figure, to have a pole, you must have another pole. Because you cannot be aware of being an extreme without there being another extreme. Which is why the universe is... reality is just a bunch of mirrors, and we look at them in a way in which we see the things that I feel that we should see. Ooh, we're going to do that. We got to explain that whole aspect of things. Was it pronouns? Are those with the I, me, we, us, they? Are those pronouns? I don't know. Fucking English is hard. English is really, really hard. So I think we can all admit that humans are fucked, right? Like, looking at things, where we are, where we're going, yes, we're at a really, really, really high point, but like, this is the top of the roller coaster. We're at the top of the roller coaster, and we're about to go tumbling down the edge, and it's opening day of this roller coaster that was built by whatever it is, generation, whatever we're supposed to hate right now. The lazy ones that don't know how to do anything. So like, you're the first one going down this roller coaster. Are you really feeling super excited about taking this ride? And the answer to that question is no, I'm not. I feel like Boston Connor coming over the fucking third hump at Kennywood. Fucking just on the verge of passing out. And I'm like, do I want to stay awake? Do I want to pass out? I don't fucking know. So being aware that the actions that you are taking are fucking insane, right? It's an amazing yet terrifying experience that I imagine is similar to standing on a stage in front of people that you don't know, doing something and getting a reaction, whether it's positive or negative. It's just like, there is something in here, right, that happens. It's an expansion or contraction. It's like something becomes real. Like the reaction of the reaction of you. Did we get to you? Fuck, man. Probably not. We didn't even get to I. All right, so humanity's fucked. So humans are fucked. And a group of humans is humanity. All right, so consciousness is when somebody else has said this in a much better terms. We're going to try it again, because you know what? We fucking reinvented the Stirling engine, and it's been around for 300 years, and everybody I tell it to is like, oh my God, we can do that? I'm like, yeah, you can fucking generate power with hot and cold air. More power than you would make with that fucking battery, and that's too much. Stan, there is no trillion point play. 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 You take a trillion point shot. There is no trillion point play. Yeah, so the I, me. So I am what is aware of, is aware. I am aware of humanity. And reality is what I project, or I produce tinfoil hat productions, producing experiences, the experiences you we are the umbrella company producing the experiences you desire. Yeah, that's not creepy at all when you actually say it out loud. All the good shit they made super creepy in movies, right? Like you say that out loud, they're like, this always ends horribly. Like, that's why I had to create a religion of like, we are all wrong. Like, what if it doesn't end horribly? Well, it always does. Like, how many things end well, but everything has to end? How do you make something that is aware that it is going to end and is easily transitioned into either the end or something else? Like that's how you fix. So that's how you change the world. That's how you fix the world. And that's kind of like that's the explanation of the $1 million problem that I don't have written down. I should not have smoked more. It's weird to run away from. You want to know what a midlife crisis is? Like, it's not a midlife crisis because it's in your fucking 40s. Like, it is, but it isn't. Like, you have many of these midlife crises. Midlife because it happens in the middle of the fucking circle, not on the outside of the circle. It's on the inside. Like, it's inside your fucking brain. And midlife crisis, or these crises that happen midlife, happen around when you're born. That's why babies cry so much, because crying is just I realizing that what we thought was real is not real, and our reality being adjusted. Like, that's what crying is: laughing and crying, um, aggressive exhaling, farting. Do I think this is true? No, it's just fucking the way that you would understand it. Like, when you fart, does it like in matter something happen? No, it's like a spiritual fucking. It's got to do with something's got to happen. Like, there's got to be an action. Like, that's the action. It's like a hard excretion without everything should flow, right? Like when you're breathing, you just flow, right? Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Everything flows. Like, all your waste flows through everything until you get too much. Like, your bladder gets full, you gotta go pee. Your pooper gets full, you gotta take a shit, right? Like, that's how it works. Um, but when you laugh, it's like a hard, right? Like, it's a reverse, aggressive reverse, right? I don't even fucking know what I was saying. Oh, so like that reverse creates energy, and like whenever you do that, whenever something hits at an aggressive angle, part of it stops. And if you stop in the experience, you die. But if you get ran into again, that if you become broken, so something runs into you and breaks you, then you can live again, but it's in two different parts. Like, that's basically what is happening here. Is like, I am floating along in the car going down the highway or down a tunnel. Car going down a tunnel on a two-way street, and I'm in the passenger seat of the car. And I suddenly, like, if you've ever been drunk, right? And you're in the passenger seat, your buddies take you, put you in the car, you're in the passenger seat or the back seat of the car, and you passed out and you wake up like, fuck, where am I? I'm in the car, and like everything's moving around you, you're not really sure what the fuck is going on. And then you look and like your buddy's driving. You're like, I know that guy. He's gonna get me home safe. Everything is good. That is the moment in time that I am in. Like, I was passed out and dead to the world. This is what a midlife crisis is like. the realization, this this realization, and the realization is important, but like this realization is this is this is the awareness of one thing into another, I guess. How do you explain two dimensions? Like, you got to get to four there, champ. I I is human. My awareness of my I is consciousness's reflection of what it thinks it understands humanity needs. I is seeking out me. Me is what I thinks you want us to do. I, me is what I thinks you want us, is the reflection of what I thinks you want us, want from us. I, me, we, us. We, you. And what is yours and us's is ours. English is so fucked. But that's God, right? Like, humanity is I, is like the sum of what we think we want. Humanity is you, and we are all doing we. So we is me, and me is what I thinks you want. So like this big fucking circle of nonsense happening. And at some point what happened, rather than somebody have to take responsibility for they could and they should have and they didn't, they're like, well, you go to church, if God was going to make it happen, they would make it happen. So we kicked responsibility at some point in history down the road to like we couldn't do anything about it, and at that particular moment in time I would feel like probably true. There wasn't enough resources or enough of anything that like some people died just because there was too many or wasn't enough of something that they died from. Like, that's the way shit happened. So people today are like, yeah, you should, if you could, you should, but it doesn't mean you have to. So it's like, how do we present an opportunity for more people, or for those who can, to do, and those who want to? Oh, fucking Jesus. Huh. You're an insane person. I'm actually a genius. And that is the issue. Is that I'm saying a bunch of stupid shit. But the fun part is we get to decide who's fucking stupid, me or you. More than likely me. But there's a non-zero chance that it's you. And that's kind of fucked up in the world. I didn't post anything. That's fucking cool. Whatever. I should probably write something, but I'm not going to. I will later. Yeah, so the $1 billion idea is the $1 billion idea. If you stuck around, I'll give you the $1 billion idea. Um, so I live in Chandler. I'm an Uber driver. I drive for Uber and Lyft, and they're probably like eliminating me from their platform now due to their facial recognition. But we have to take a picture every week for your safety. But some weird facial recognition thing that I can't really figure out why they want. I drive for them because I retired from your world to do an experiment on, can I live off of working for 4 hours a day or less, doing something that I can tolerate doing, that is beneficial to society, and live a comfortable life. So for the past 5 years, I've been doing such a thing. It is because of. At first, I thought it was because I had a rich girlfriend. Then my girlfriend dumped me, and now I'm currently living with my ex-girlfriend as a roommate under the same parameters that I was while we were dating. Only I have my own room, sort of. But yeah, I've been literally living the dream up until last week when Uber, Waymo, and I'm sure, but definitely Uber and Waymo. Uh, Allegedly, all of this shit is only based on my anecdotal evidence. That is my observation of the events that happened. And if you want to verify what I'm saying, you can go ahead and ask Uber for their data because they won't give it to any of us. So good luck. But um, based on my observation of somebody who's been doing the same exact thing for about 3 years now, waking up at like 2 a.m., driving until 5:35 to um, 7 a.m., depending on like crazy nonsense that's happening on the road and like where the sun is and all sorts of other bullshit. Um, so averaging about 4 hours a day for the year, every day, 2 o'clock, get up, drive to 2 and 3, get up, drive, get up, drive, get up, drive. I only need about $50 a day based on all of the stuff that I've been doing. And so I don't have a lot of data. My data is only of the time frames that I am currently working, which is from 5 a.m. to or 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. I've been doing this for making enough money from Lyft and Uber without fail. Recently, they've been adjusting things in ride distribution, although ride distribution has been such that they no longer offer rides to um, certain drivers based on criteria that they do not tell anybody. Some of it is based on your driving stats, which is your acceptance rates. Mine's at 10% or 9% now, because every ride that was being sent to me was over 30 minutes away, or less than 12, or less than $15, or less than $20, less than $20 an hour listed. Typical rides at that time of day are like $25 to $30. And these rides were listed at a substantially lower rate for some reason. I think most of them are because they need to demonstrate that they are sending rides to drivers that drivers aren't accepting to prove that Waymo is a needed uh, entity, and they'll supply those rides at a rate that a driver wouldn't be able to take because it's not profitable. $16 an hour is not profitable on a 8 mile ride. It's just math of time, wear and tear on your car, maintenance, and all sorts of other things. Um, so that being said, I was sitting there waiting for a ride in a time frame that up until the beginning of the month, you never had to wait. I never waited for a ride. And I was intrigued by how it was okay for Waymo, Uber, the city of Chandler to allow the market manipulation of the ride shares in that area to a point at which I gave a ride to somebody on Lyft that I had given a ride to on Uber, and they had said that they were going to have to find a new job because if rates for lot rides keep fluctuating and going up the way that they've been going up, they won't be able to afford to go to work. So they have to find a new job, even though they like their job. We're pricing them out of keeping a job that they like. So it seems doesn't seem very capitalistic, but I don't fucking know what capitalism is. So that's on me. I know I was taught it, and I know what you think it is, or I know what I think you think it is. But I don't think it's what you think. I don't think it's what I think you think it is for sure. And I definitely don't think that what we exist in is any version of what you're describing and or what you think it or what I think you think it is. when you have a you in your head, it is really difficult to stay on task because you can get very, very loud, and that's part of the fun part of becoming me, transferring I to me, which is being what you being what you think, being what you think you want you to be. It's very weird when you say you because or me, I being what I think you want me to be, I guess is a better circle from my perspective, but it's not. You think it's weird to talk about yourself in the third person. It's weird for you for me to talk about myself in the third person, but it's super fucking weird for me to talk about myself in the first person. Basically, it's just super fucking weird to talk about yourself. Super fucking weird just to describe an experience to somebody because they should know, but because they're not aware, they don't know. You're like a fucking dog and a squirrel, just fucking gone. Pew! Fucking gone. There is no $1 trillion play. There is no $1 trillion play. There is no $1 trillion play. Okay, so back to the manipulating of markets. So manipulate the question is how can they manipulate markets in the way that they are. And in case you're wondering how they do it, basically all of what they're doing is they're sending drivers out of the area to other areas that don't necessarily need the drivers. I'll say that they do, but they don't. They're about average. Like it's Uber does not pay you for travel time. If you travel to a pickup, you have to wait a certain amount of time. It's usually 7 minutes for the rider to show up to your car. At which time, if you wait the 7 minutes, no matter how far you've driven, even 24 minutes or 22 miles, it doesn't matter, or it's 2 minutes, the same price is given to you. It's $3.40 some odd cents. It's less than $4. I think it's less than $3.50. So no matter how far you travel, that's what you're going to get. On average, you will have one of these somewhere in the neighborhood of 6% of the time. You will have to wait that time the ride gets canceled, probably another, or on the way to the ride, or to picking up, the rider or Uber will cancel the ride on you, and you will receive, I don't believe I've ever received a payment for that, because usually those types of rides, you get about halfway up to where they want you to go and they cancel the ride. And they say that the rider canceled it, but you don't get paid. And the reason why you don't get paid is because it wasn't the rider that canceled it, it was Uber that canceled it. Again, this is all allegedly. I have no evidence to support this other than the fact of what happens to the coincidences that happen to me while I do the driving. So there's really no benefit in taking those rides. And by removing riders, you're able to, and saying that riders aren't eligible for certain rides, you are able to point out or tell the riders that you can either, a ride of what you're looking for is 30 minutes away. And if you're waking up or going to work at 2 to 3 in the morning, you're probably not looking forward to waking up 15 minutes early or half hour early to request a ride. That more times, 9 times out of 10, there's a rider sitting 4 minutes away from you. More than willing and able to give you a ride of the quality that you're desiring, because you don't really care that it's a comfort ride or a fancy ride at that particular time. You're just fucking trying to get to work. And because Uber has manufactured these thresholds where they're in control of things like harsh acceleration on your car and excessive brakings. These are terms that they do not give you exactly what they are. And the parameters that have changed regularly while you're driving. So it's very weird to go from a cruising, they call it a cruising score of 99 for the better part of 3 months to a 95 in like less than 10 rides, for things like harsh cornering excessive braking and excessive acceleration. So like those types of things change, and then when you get to a certain point, they miraculously don't change anymore. So those are some weird things, again, allegedly based on my experience and my observation. When I ask Uber about it, they do not answer the questions for any of those. So basically, they're doing some fucked up shit. But I thought about it. I used the term market. And what it's not illegal to do is create markets places. So why don't we create our own market? Excuse me. And a lot of people are going to say for insurance reasons. And like, if you look at what Uber's doing, Uber is no longer really trying to be in the rideshare space. They're trying to be in the payment processing space. They own an insurance. I'm not doing research, but I'm pretty sure that they own part of or an entirety of an insurance company, the one that they insured with. They constantly are trying to sell insurance, or they used to try to sell insurance to drivers repeatedly. They even invented a new kind of insurance that they wanted you to get to qualify for certain rides, which sounds slightly illegal when you think about it. Man, I'm not trying, whatever you're doing, like they're doing it, and I'm watching that NFL Red Zone with the bars on it, and I get no, but like I was still making enough money, so I didn't fucking care. But now I fucking care. So their layer, like their money making is the payment processing. Like they've just upped like 25 cents to do a fast pay on a bank system that they control. So it actually doesn't cost them any any overhead to oversee this. But they charge you $1.75 every time you want to get paid. And if you're doing gig work and you're working every day, you probably are taking out a payment every, I don't know, 4 to 7 times. So you have to pay $10 a week to just fucking get at your money. Like, that's absurd. And they own the bank. You know they own the bank because every fucking one of them offers you a debit card to preload for free, because on the debit card they get to make money off of the transactions. So they're making $1.75 off of you cashing it out, and then they're making another 1 to 2 to 3% off of the actual transaction fee of what they're of what you end up sending. So like if it's $100, like they're taking like $4 or $5 in fees off of it. Now some of that is coming from Uber, but like it's all going to the same. It's a layer, right? So like they're basically showing you the cheat sheet for it. So the $1 billion idea is we want to build an app. We want to take a page out of Colorado's book. Colorado currently, from what I understand from a video from a More Perfect Union, now it's a More Perfect Union. I'm unsure. I'm unsure how real it is. But it was real enough for me to think it was real. That there's basically a co-op in Colorado that they are an owner. They're driver owned and operated. I don't know anything about it other than it's driver owned and operated. Now my idea is slightly more complicated, slightly more layered, and moves the accountability to the driver and the rider instead of the company. Now that's the way we want everything. Like, we want smaller government. You want to build a smaller government, but you want the government to be there when shit hits the fan. So how do you build that market or that model? First, you create the app that makes the market. So basically, same way that I don't know how these fucking apps work, but I assume it works something like this. Somebody's like, hey, I think a dolphin would fuck up a whale. Or I think a dolphin would beat up a grizzly bear. Like, I don't know. Fucking some stupid shit. And they tell them that I got $1,000 on the dolphin beating up the bear. And somebody's like, I'll give you $50 for it. And I don't know, fucking math happens and they come up with some jargon. And then if a dolphin ever fights a bear, somebody wins, and if a dolphin never fights a bear, I don't really fucking know what happens. But in any event, they collect their money, they pay out the guy who won the bet, and hooray, life goes on. And like they keep some money on the payment process part. So what if we made the app for getting a ride home for the bar? I feel like somebody's made this proposal already, but like, let's fucking do it again. No, we are not doing anything other than making these trades public. That's all that the app does. You say, I will pay $25 an hour based on the current drive time from where my location to my destination, plus $5 to compensate for traveling to me and waiting for me to get my happy ass in the car. Whatever that is, I'll pay it. Go. Well, anybody, if that was offered, is there anybody out there that would do it? And you don't have to go that far. We're just like, this is a market. Like, boom, you know that it exists. And we put that out to the public through some API and just allow we would allow that information to be available at 80% of the transaction. And that's not right. We keep 20% the secondary app, the API would get the 80%. Now we obviously understand that the money is in the transaction of the money, so we would create our own payment processor. That payment process would process all of these payments, so they would keep a 3% fee. So at the end of the day, the app is keeping the app is keeping 20%, and the payment processor keeps 3%. So it's something like 77% is going to the driver for the most part. Or 77% is going to the payment to the company. 3% is going to the payment processor, and then the rest is going to the final app, which again is going to be open sourced. And since we're taking 20% of the transactions, we're obviously going to spend a boatload of money on creating our own, because this is where the next part of the control is, because we need to maintain, we as a company, even though we don't have anything to do with filling these rides, we sort of kind of need to make sure the rides are legit. So like we would probably take, probably illegal, but fuck them. Like we do this all the time. It's another business. We own a business, but it's not our business. Like you just fucking think of us as a drug company. But yeah, the third app would be the app that takes the driver and gives them the knowledge that this trade is available. They would accept it, and based on the information, the rider would then accept that driver, and then boom. We don't do anything else. Like the final app would give the directions to where they're going. We would obviously be making with the 20%. Every driver would have an iPad that goes over the back of their seat or wherever, and the rider scans their phone, punches in the PIN number, whatever, verifies the application, hits go, That goes to the driver, so the driver never has any real information. And then both parties go through background checks, and Bob's your uncle. And the best part is that I have, again, only the knowledge of the people that I have in the back of my car. Everybody has said nobody said that it's a terrible idea. Everybody said that they would give it a try, and the customer, the rider, really only sees we'd have bidding set up in the API, so like the rider and the driver would have similar experiences to what they have in Uber and Lyft. You could make one app that would be able to set the market. Like, not we wouldn't make them, but like we would open source it, so like the public, if they wanted to take advantage of these markets, sorry, I think I have to say the right term there, but they would, we would give them the opportunity to know that these things are happening. So, but yeah. All right. I think I ran out of steam. 45 minutes. Yeah, fuck it. Well, this is a terrible process. I promise you that it'll make sense eventually. So, there is no action without reaction. React with purpose, react promptly, and if possible, react politely. If we all took care of ourselves, we would all be taken care of. And finally,